Let's start just in a seated position. And just to bring us into this moment, into this practice, our nice short yin practice for the day. Maybe the hands down on the knees. And also bring them up, as you know. And in fact, let's actually start with them down. Yeah, and we'll breathe a few breaths together with our palms down. Arriving in this space. And maybe even saying to ourselves, I have arrived. I am here now. And what if just these next 30-some minutes, we allow ourselves to not have to try. We allow ourselves to just be and to go with the flow. So maybe now saying to ourselves, I drop into the flow. I drop into the flow. Now let's flip our palms up to the sky. And maybe change the crossing of the feet. Yeah. And here, receiving the flow. Allowing ourselves to embrace all of our parts, just as they are. And imagine receiving the flow into the palms of our hands. Allowing ourselves to receive our yin practice together today. Let's bring our hands to our heart space and chant Om 3 times together. Notice the beating of your heart in your chest. And let's breathe in. Exhale, let the breath go. And we'll breathe in again. Exhale for Om. 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 With our hearts open to receive, our mind, body open to receive, come into our first shape. Let's start with our upper body today. We've been talking about that a lot. And so, some people, it's comfortable to come onto the belly. So we'll come onto the belly if that's comfortable, but bring the left arm underneath the chest, across the body, just like thread the needle, and then the right arm under. And then we'll just lie on the arms just like that. And if that's not comfortable, which for some people it's not, then we'll come onto the back body and we'll just do it on the back body. And maybe just bring those hands to the shoulder blades. Just kind of a self-hug. And we'll rest here. Allowing everything along the back, the shoulders, to just come into place. That fascia just kind of slipping and sliding into where it wants to be. And we'll be here about 3 minutes. So whether you're on the back or whether you're on the belly, Just allow yourself to be. Allowing the breath to come and go without forcing, without even trying to even change it. Maybe bringing the awareness to the soles of the feet or the palms of the hands. Or maybe the third eye point between your eyebrows. Allowing the breath to come and go. And just as we said before class, we find that Zen Yen. Dropping into ourselves here. Now from wherever you are, let's just slowly, so I'm on my back, so I'm going to uncross my arms and just recross with the left arm on top and the right arm under. And so if you're on your belly, if you're on the belly, just kind of bring the right arm under and the left arm on top. So we're just changing the arrangement of the arms to give that new opening across the scapula, across the shoulders. And along the arms from the shoulders to the tips of the fingers, those meridians that run along those lines are among many are the lung and the heart. So allowing our lungs to be light. Sometimes in winter, we breathe in the cold air and we often get upper respiratory infections or illness. And so as we breathe here with our arms arranged just like this, feeling those lungs supported. Maybe bringing the awareness to the breath now and feeling the back of the body pressing into the floor if you're on your back, or the chest if you're on the front of the body. Maybe notice on the next breath, see if you can fill the side body, the side ribs with air as the lungs expand. And exhale. A fascinating fact is that 80% of toxins are released through the breath on the exhale. It's pretty phenomenal. As we exhale, we release toxins. Just breathe in. Exhale. Now we'll count it down from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. As you're ready, just unravel those arms. If you're on your back, just come into your rebound on your back. And if you're on your belly, you can come onto the belly or you can come onto the back. Allow those arms to be at the side. And maybe notice that chi expanding, maybe from the base of the neck down to the palms or wherever it might be going. Allowing ourselves to breathe. One more breath. Exhale, let it go. Ah. Now, if you're not on your back, find your back. And if you're on your back, find your block. Hopefully you have a block nearby. And if you don't have a block nearby, that's okay. But if you do, we're going to come into our Sphinx on the back. So, great. Okay, grab that block. We're going to bring the feet to the floor and then press those hips up and bring the block underneath that sacrum. And then from there, you can either keep those feet where they are with those legs bent and bring arms up overhead. So we're going to extend through the fingertips now over the top of the mat. So you can stay here with the legs. Maybe you want to walk the legs out and let yourself rest on the block. So find the shape for you. And I really want to, if it's comfortable, really benefit from bringing those arms over the head and just have them cross. So we're going to bring them up over the head now. Back to the hands to the floor with those arms overhead. And we'll exhale. Feel the shoulder blades be melted to the ground. And if those legs are long, don't think that you have to stay there if it becomes uncomfortable at all. You can bring the feet to the floor at any time. Yeah, you can change that position. You know, our intention here is that support on the lumbar to just elevate those hips a little. So the low back is in a little bit of a bend. With these arms overhead, again, targeting the lung and the heart meridians. As well as that small intestine. The lungs are often the house where we house grief. So opening up to allow that to bubble up, to work through it, to allow it to pass over and through us. Our lungs support us in sustaining life, of course, as we draw in the breath and let the breath go. Breathing in and out. With these palms to the sky, it's that reminder that we're receiving our practice today. We're not doing anything, we can just be here. And if the mind wanders, maybe bring the awareness to the palm of the right hand. And the big toe of the left foot. The palm of the left hand. The big toe of the right foot. The right elbow. The left knee. The left elbow. The right knee. The right shoulder. The left hip. The left hip, left shoulder, and the right hip. And into the navel. Up the spine to the solar plexus, just below the sternum. To the heart space. To the base of the throat. To the third eye. And then to the top of the head. Just a few centimeters above the head. And then to the palms again and down across the entire body to the soles of the feet. Exhale. And inhale. Exhale, let the breath go. And now if you're extended long, bring those feet to the floor. If those arms are overhead, bring those palms to the floor beside the hips. Nice and slow. And then exhale to press the feet into the floor, lifting the hips just enough to remove that block. And then we'll come into our rebound. Whew. Letting those legs be long. And palms can be down or the palms can be up. Allowing this freshness of blood, this fresh chi. To move through us. One more breath. And now let's exhale to slowly bring one foot to the floor. And then whichever leg is bent, just roll around to that side of the body. And we're going to come up to all fours in table, just for a moment. And in this table, let's sway the hips side to side. We wiggle at the feet. You can tap the tops of the feet to the ground. Yeah. And now from this table, let's walk our hands forward and bring the right knee towards that right wrist. And we'll come into our sleeping swan. So the one left foot is towards the left side of the mat, the right knee towards that right wrist, and then bring that left leg long. And we can come onto all fours if we want. And of course, if that's not comfortable, we can do this on our back. So we can come onto the back with that right knee on that left thigh and bring those hands towards the shin. And we'll rest here in the shape. Maybe scanning the entire front of the body that's in contact with the floor. And if you're on your belly, make sure the shoulders relax. Sometimes we tend to shrug the shoulders into the ears when we're on the palms or on the forearms. So just make notice of that. And if you're on the back in figure 4, also make sure that if those hands are on the shin, you're not shrugging the shoulders into the ears. Relax the shoulder blades onto the floor, or let those shoulders, if you're on your belly, the front of the shoulders, just melt into the earth or onto in the direction of the earth. Really nice job. Bring that awareness inward. Let's bring our awareness to the crown of the head, just a few centimeters off the top of the head. Exhale. Bring the awareness to your third eye, breathing in and letting go. Bring awareness to the throat chakra and let it go. To your heart space, and we'll linger there for a few breaths. Maybe noticing the heart space on the back of the body between the shoulder blades, and let it go. And now descending towards that solar plexus chakra, Manipura chakra. And exhale. Just below the navel, bring your awareness to your sacral chakra, Svadhisthana chakra. Into the base of the tailbone, your root chakra. And then bring that breath up the spine, to the crown of the head, and then down. Maybe continue with that visualization. Dropping into our inner world, our inner subtle body. So now gently coming out of this shape, kind of the reverse of how we came into it. If you're on the back, release the hands from the shin, let the foot come to the ground of the left foot and then the right foot. Let the legs come long. If you're on your belly, yeah, press up and kind of come into table and then send that leg long. So we'll come into our rebound either on the front of the body or the back of the body. Maybe noticing where that chi is moving. You know, when we bend the knee or bend up into, the hip flexors, it's like we're creating a dam. So if you think of removing a levee, removing a dam from water, that water is going to flush through, going to flow and rush through. So that's what's happening with the chi. And yin yoga has that way of bringing us our awareness to that chi, which is very subtle, right? It doesn't even show up on an X-ray or an MRI. You can't see it, but you can feel it for sure. So going deep within to the nuance of our bodies. One more breath. And now let's exhale. If you're on your back, then bring that right foot to the ground, the left ankle on the thigh, and hug the knees in for figure 4. And if you're on the belly, let's press up to table. And if you need to, sway those hips a little bit. And then bring that left knee towards that left wrist. And some people have that shin parallel with the front of the mat. If that's in your practice, you can. The foot can be at an angle. Bring the right knee to the ground. And just kind of topple, not topple, but like, when you drop a shirt on the floor and the shirt just kind of, let your hips kind of do that over the foot and onto your mat. Finding that spot that's really comfortable for you. And if you did the sleeping swan on the front of the body, you can do figure 4 on the back. If you did figure 4 on the back, you can do sleeping swan on the other side. In fact, that's what I'm going to do here. And allow ourselves to steep, just like a tea bag, steep into the shape. Letting this shape just bring out what needs to be brought out in this amount of time. And if you find yourself getting chilly and cooling off, just go ahead and bring a blanket over that leg. If I were there, I would do it for you. And maybe just visualize a warm fire at your side, warming you from the outside in. And perhaps if visualization is helpful, to ground the mind, perhaps bringing that awareness to the big toe on the right foot. And scanning along the leg to the hip, along the right side of the body, to the right tip of the middle finger, and then down that arm to the shoulder, maybe across the back to the left hand, that middle finger of the left hand, and then down the entire left side of the body, finding the maze of way towards that left toe. And maybe an exhale allows an entire front of the body to drop into the floor. If you're on your back, let the back drop into the floor. Notice the beating of your heart in your chest. Allowing yourself to be. And now allowing that bell to just let us know that we can move into our rebound. So be coming up onto the palms here on the front of the body. You can drop to one side. And we'll come into our rebound. Coming onto the back of the body or the front of the body. It doesn't have to be the back. Another breath in. Exhale. Let the breath go. Oh. And breathe in and out. Now let's give ourselves another breath in. And then let it go. Let's make our way to seated for one last yin shape before Shavasana. You know, we've been talking about our wrists a lot lately and how the wrists and the shoulders are connected as far as mobility. Sometimes if our wrists are stuck, it affects the shoulders. So I'm going to give some options for the wrist. So we can either sit in our hero pose on our heels or rock pose. So you can sit like that. And where the wrists come into play is we're just going to interlace the hands, the fingers, and then just flip the hands out. So you can either do that in your rock pose with those wrists out, tuck the chin, and really reach those hands forward. So you can do it seated on your feet. Or if you want to come into our caterpillar, then bring your legs long in front of the body. And then we'll bring the hands together and we'll just kind of fold over. So however you want to open those wrists, whichever seated position, we'll be here for just a little while, opening up those wrists, really as if you're pressing the hands into a wall in front of you. That will kind of extend those arms. And maybe you trace the energy from the palms of the hand to the shoulders, to the middle of the back between the shoulder blades, and then from the middle of the back along the shoulders into the palms again. And just trace that energy back and forth from the palms to the heart and the back of the body. Nice job. Couple more breaths. We'll count it down from 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And gently release those hands. Bring yourself the legs out in front of the body, the shoulders over the hips, and we'll come into our final rebound of Shavasana. So maybe now is when you find that blanket and just kind of cocoon into your rebound, your final rebound of Shavasana. Allowing our entire being, all of our parts to integrate subtly, emotionally. We can align with our soul's purpose by embracing all of our parts. Sometimes in our final rebound, allowing ourselves to really let go, we might notice that that chi is kind of zigzagging back and forth. Or if it feels like a constant ripple, like it's radiating. It might feel like popcorn popping or like a ping pong ball. Allowing this chi to move in ways that it otherwise wouldn't have moved if you hadn't given yourself this time today. So perhaps thanking yourself for the time that you gave yourself, this time that you offered for whatever you needed, a mental break, emotional break, support with friends, stability, whatever you needed today, allow it to just be soaked up. Allowing yourself to just steep and rest, marinate in this final rebound. So now as you're ready, with awareness, with consciousness, roll over to one side. Give yourself as many wiggles as you need. And as you're ready, make your way up to seated position to close class together. Scanning the body consciously and letting a breath go. A nice long exhale. And then inhale. Exhale for Om. Om. Shanti. 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 Om. Namaste.